It's me, Krista. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome for the very first time to my little art corner here on YouTube. We are still going strong here on Inktober. Today is going to be prompt 21, and today's prompt is treasure. I had some difficulties deciding what to do with this one. I really did not want to do a box full of treasure, a stereotypical clip art pirate treasure situation. I could have. It would have been fun. But I tried not to go with my first thought for this. And because a couple days ago I did the Island is Misfit Toys characters for a drawing and I was thinking about Rankin Bass, and I mentioned their version of The Hobbit in that video, I decided I wanted to draw their version of Gollum. Which is funny because as an adult, I find this design for Gollum to be quite adorable. As a child, I found it completely terrifying. He scared me. The book scared me too. And of course, his treasure is the ring. Just in case we weren't on the same page with that. The treasure will be the one and only ring. The one ring to rule them all ring. So now to get into that actual drawing process, I laid out a sketch using a cheap Bic Mechanical Pencil again, and now at this point I am inking it and trying to lay down some line work with that Copic F02 in black, the drawing pen. I still really like it. Been having a lot of fun with this. The reference I used for this is a still from the animated film. I wanted the reference to be close enough to where you could tell what my inspiration point was, but I also end up shading it and making some changes to the expression and everything so that it still feels like it's done in my style and that I am not straight up copying, just heavily referencing. I also decided to focus on a lot of light coming from the ring itself. I wanted that to be my main light source. And I wanted it to reflect in his eyes to help represent that obsession that Mr. Gollum has with it. Not that you guys actually care, but when I said Mr. Gollum, my brain immediately went to him wearing a top hat and a monocle, and now I wish I would have added that to the drawing, because that would have been pretty amazing. Darn it. Maybe later. I did notice a couple things about the design itself when I was drawing this. He feels kind of like a kappa from a Japanese legend, and in a lot of animes. My version of his nose isn't exactly right, but the actual nose from the original design looks a lot like certain bats, which I found kind of interesting. It's funny things you notice when you actually take the time to draw something that you would not have noticed otherwise. Those are two associations I never would have made before. At this point in the drawing, I start bringing in some white acrylic marker. I switched between my Sharpie water-based one and my Posca pen because I found it, yay! And for some of the grays, I decided to pull in the Kuretake Zig Clean Color Dot as well to help create a darker midtone on top of the toned paper, which is that same Strathmore toned paper I've been using, the mixed media one. As far as black markers go, I've been using that same Kuretake one that I've been using this entire time. And for some of the thicker lines and the background, I pulled in a Marabu Aqua Pen Graphics Maca. It's a watercolor felt tip pen, and this is a dual-ended one that has a larger brush tip and a fine tip. For his eyes, I did not want to give him very defined pupils. I do end up pulling in a white marker to outline it a tiny bit to give an illusion of a ring-like pupil in white, but for the most part, I wanted to leave it this way. I wanted it to look more creature-like and less human in that regard. Specifically, a creature who lives in a dark cave. On that arm, I did go a little too dark too quickly. Luckily, I was able to go in with some white ink in order to help bring it back up, and I was able to blend it with the gray Kuretake clean dot marker. Layering is your friend, and even with ink, there are ways to still figure stuff out and fix it a little bit. Usually. The white ink I am using to help pull it up and to add some highlights in some other spots is the Winsor & Newton ink in white. It came in this month's sketch box. I have been really enjoying it. I like how buildable it is and that it is a little translucent at first, but when you build it up a little bit, you can make it look more opaque later. I've really been enjoying it. I will say, typically, Winsor & Newton products, I like them. They usually make decent art supplies. I haven't had any issues with anything I've had from them yet. That Kuretake Zig marker in gray, I also blended it out with a little bit with a Waterbrush to move the gray ink around to blend it out a little bit. While it's still wet, it does it. I did not try it while it was dry, so that might be a test to do another time. At this point, I am just pulling in a thicker black marker and redefining some lines and some shading a little bit more. I wanted some darker bits going on, create a lot of contrast. I'm a big fan of contrast in work, in the artwork. To get even darker shading, I'm going in with the dual-ended Marabou marker. Get some deeper dark blacks in there. I do get a little bummed because there was a point where I really liked my hand sketch, and from trying to redefine it a little bit and make it stand out a little bit more, I ruined the overall shape and had to finagle it, so it looked okay, but it's still not quite what it was. But overall, I am still happy with what I ended up with. It follows pretty much what I wanted to do. I wanted it to look like Gollum from the Rankin Bass Hobbit cartoon, and it does, and I wanted it to still look like I did it, and it does. Those white dots definitely give away that it was me. I apparently have to always stipple with a white acrylic marker. Just can't not do it. So day 21 of October, that means that we are 3 weeks in. Still got 10 more to go though. We can get there. I'm still enjoying Inktober. At this point, I am noticing it is a little bit more difficult for me to come up with ideas. It's not quite creative burnout, but certain things are a little harder to do now than it was at the beginning. I'm going to keep on trucking and keep on pushing through because I feel like I'm learning stuff. I feel like I'm meeting a lot of cool artists online and seeing a bunch of cool stuff other people do, and it's been pretty fun. But this video and this drawing are almost finished. Just getting a few final touches in there. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, feelings, or concerns, or you want to let me know what you did for today's prompt of treasure, what you've been using, how you've been feeling about Inktober, I want to hear from you. Please let me know in that comment section down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day or night to watch this video. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys soon. You'll definitely be hearing from me soon. Bye, everybody!